Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Yeah, it's a bit strange seeing me on a Wednesday night, but our game got cancelled due to people having stuff going on in life, the usual pesky stuff. So I'm not in Brotherhood of the Dice tonight. We've postponed that game the next week, but so here I am. Yeah, I randomly watched this early this morning before I had to head out, and I was like thinking to myself, when am I going to actually review this? And then, sure enough, tonight presented itself, so here I am. Right. If anyone's seen my review on Immaculate, I'm busy talking about the same movie. This is Immaculate, but with the Omen member berries thrown and scattered and waved at you. Both movies are essentially the same. It's a bit of a strange one. But anyway, let's dive in. So we'll start off with super secret squirrel stuff, random chapel somewhere, and we have Father Brennan, and if you remember him from The Omen, originally by was it Patrick Troughton, overacting like crazy. He's this guy who's playing Father Brennan's a bit more restrained, but trying to still give that the demon's coming for you, all that kind of stuff. So not quite full batshit crazy yet, but he's showing that he's getting there. We'll have Charles Dance in this. Did he need pocket money or something? Like, they hired Charles Dance for one scene at the beginning of this, and this is where Busy Brennan's looking, hounding this priest to tell him about the conspiracy, blah blah blah, and then we essentially have the replica of, I suppose, two scenes amalgamated because there's scaffolding outside the church. So anyone who knows the Roman franchise, that's never going well. And of course, we'll have this long shot of the window being, so that's falling on somebody's head. It's just so on the nose. It's unreal. You just have to laugh at you like, yep, it's a coming. And sure enough, what I will say, it was slightly more inventive at the end. It's one of those, like Resident Evil type deaths. When somebody gets sliced and then they don't realize for a second. It's one of them things. But yeah, that happens. Charles Dance obviously needed some pocket money. If you got to spare 10 minutes, okay, just come in and blah blah blah, and we'll throw in the effects later. And sure, earn a lot of cash for you on your way, young chap. So that's all right. That's a bit of member berries. That's your setup, and then we'll go to Sister Margaret. Now, this is almost beat for beat, scene for scene, the same as Immaculate. The only thing is, she doesn't have the weird scene in Immigration, but she arrives and the Cardinals picking her up. Like, she's a novitiate. She's not even a fully fledged, and only because it's said on the thing, novitiate. Apparently that's the baby nun or trainee nun or something. The, I don't know, level 1 nun. But she's one of them. And she's getting picked up in a car and hugs, and everyone's all so happy. Now, if that doesn't, any horror fan, if that's not ringing alarm bells going ding, 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 danger, danger, everyone's being super nice and almost the level of being creepy, it's like, wonder what's going on here. So yeah, she arrived. It turned out she was an orphan, she was a ward of the church, she had visions, but then found out it was all in her head. So we know that's going, she has visions, and that's going to come into play. Yeah, and then this is nearly a 2-hour long movie, by the way. It's like an hour 46, an hour 47. It's nearly a bloody 2-hour movie. And we don't get very much. We get a lot of atmosphere and spookiness and member berries. That's essentially the entire movie. So the backdrop is, it's the 70s, because it's obviously a prequel. It's just set up before the events of The Omen. So they kept it in that time period, which is sense. But you've got rats in the streets of Rome. The church is worried about secularism. But they didn't worry about their paedophilia. I'm just saying. They're worried about secularism. Maybe stop diddling kids. Just a random thought out there. And maybe they wouldn't have the trouble to do today. They didn't have to convert to wokeism. Yeah. Yeah, I have opinions. I need to behave myself. But yeah, you've rats in streets, blah, 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 all that going on. So they're setting the scene of what's happening. And then we have Margaret, her character just being in the movie. Like, she sort of bumbles along, and then this weird scene. This is the bit I don't get. She meets Luca, another level 1 nun, and Luca's like dressed like, for a start. These not religious things, not very, what's the word, regimented, and like they don't have personal possessions and personal space. And yet you've got Luca run about in skimpy like lingerie, saying how she, wants to live a little before she takes her vows. You're kind of like, this doesn't fit. And the weirdest scene in this, like how it happens, I've no idea. But to get Margaret, all of a sudden she has going out clothes to fit her, and it's not even like, you're talking 2020s. The full V-neck that shows everything and stuff, and it's just so damn it. She's supposed to be a like a level 1 nun, and then she's dressed up like somebody out of the 2020s, going on the red carpet, letting it all hang out. And of course, they go to a nightclub, and they're getting wired, and you're like, for start, Margaret's been brought up in the church all her life. It's all she knows. And plus, she's brought up in America, so if she was going to be tempted or have a rebellious teenage phase, that would have been done and dusted before she got anywhere near Italy. And then all of a sudden, this random roommate turns up, and then all of a sudden she's out clubbing and partying. It just did not fit, did not make sense. Now, I know why they did it, because the plot needs to happen. She meets, not Pablo. What's his face? Paulo. Sorry, she meets Paulo, right? That's, plot device bloke for this. Hey, Chris. Yeah, we're not gaming tonight, so I'm on talking about this lovely movie. Yeah. So plot has to happen. She goes to a nightclub. Like, two nuns go to a nightclub, and then she blacks out. So whether she's never drunk before or she was spiked, we don't know. It's kind of hinted it could be anything. I'm a kind of hint that she's, getting really, like, falls in love immediately with Paulo. And it's like, what the hell? It just completely jarring. This is where Immaculate was a better movie, I think. Because they didn't do any of this contrived shit. Because that's all this is. This whole, them, like, a nun running about, and later on you see Lucas, she's wearing makeup and all sorts, and like, I don't think that quite happens. And this is my team, by the way, so I'm not going, it's, what I mean, I'm an outsider looking at all that stuff. But still, even I know, like, makeup, like, going about and sussies and lingerie, and nobody bats an eyelid. I don't think so. There's even a weird scene when the cardinal picks her up and she only has like a one suitcase, and it's like, is that all you have? I thought that was kind of the point. Just they don't have stuff. Is that not it? The devote their lives and blah blah blah. Yeah. This film smacks of desperation. It just smacks of, oh, we need another requel, prequel, reboot. To stick out there with no ideas of our own. How about this? And I actually think this is a reboot. Honestly, you watch Immaculate, you watch this, and you're essentially, apart from the nightclub scene, watching the same bloody movie all the way through. The only difference is this has got the Omen member berries. Well, Cardinal Bill Nye's character in this, he must have needed some pocket money too, because yeah, to get him in this, like, it could have been anybody. So they've spent money into, like, you know, higher level actors for a movie that's really not needing it. Like, what they portray, like, Charles Dance is absolutely waste of a character. There's no point. He could have been anybody. That priest could have been anybody. He's only in it for like a blink. And Bill Nye's character, Cardinal what's his face, Lawrence, he could have been played by anybody. Because honestly, there's no dialogue to like work with, and there's nothing to actually like. There's no like great acting moments. Any wooden plank could have taken his place, and nobody would have noticed. Like, he's not adding anything to this role. So it's weird. The actors on board for this. I'm just like scratching my head, going, "Why are you? Did you need names to attach to this to try and get it somewhere?" So eventually, blah blah blah. Margaret meets Carlita, the troubled orphan who sees stuff. Oh, she's just like me. She sees stuff too, and she's a troubled child and is locked in the bedroom and blah blah blah, not allowed to play with other kids and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, you can kind of see where the misdirect stuff's going. Like, I don't know like, at the end of the day, Damon's getting born and he's going to the Omen. This is a prequel, so it's hard not to spoil it. You know what I mean? There's nowhere, and I think that's what gets in its way of a prequel. You know where it's going, so you're kind of like, well, it's either Margaret or Kalita, you know, because the camera's panning on those two. So it's like, which one's the misdirect? You know what I mean? Flip a coin. It's one of the two. That's the way it's working. And then you kind of know straight away Margaret's like because the way they're all welcoming her stuff, and like I said, after seeing Immaculate, you're just seeing the same story beats. It's so strange. Watch it. Like, uh, if I wouldn't get banned, I would actually play both movies like side by side, and you just see beat for beat like a lot of scenes played out. So stuff happens. They go out on a field trip. It's strange because Carlita's troubled child, not allowed to play with other kids, but it's okay for her to go out on a field trip. Oh, and then we got Angelica. I can't remember what her. She's a weird one. That's another member, Barry, because we essentially get the same hanging scene from the Omen, except this one sets fire to herself first, just to add a bit of oomph. I mean, this movie screams desperation. So funny. He just like going, "Oh, you're trying so hard. Oh, you know what I mean? You want to kind of pat it in the head and go, there. You're a real Omen movie. You're fine." It's only Reagan because essentially this movie's boring. It goes nowhere. And then we'll have she burned, I mean, set herself on fire, hangs herself just for the sake of it. And even the same line, she even says it, same line, "This is all for you," at Carlita and Margaret. You know what I mean? Funny enough, Carlita and Margaret are close by, so you don't know which one's which. It's like keeping that for later. It's like, okay, yeah. You know what I mean? Just at this stage, you just flip a coin which one is going to be, what the crack is, because, yeah. So Margaret meets Father Brennan. And this guy is he's trying so hard to be Patrick Troughton. Oh my god, it is so tragic. He is trying so hard to be the energetic but holding himself back batshit crazy priest of the original Omen. And he's trying so hard to give him. He needs another pat in the head. There, son. You did well. Yes. People's gonna. This movie's gonna get forgotten, guaranteed. Within once it finishes cinema releasing that, it's just gonna disappear in the background, and like people be like, yeah, that was the thing. But he meets Margaret. He tells her about the secret plot. Dun dun dun. Now, here's my thing. Margaret has been brought up in the church. It's all she knows. She has personal, emotional connections to Cardinal Lawrence, who she sees as a father figure. Like, she is busting, you know what I mean? She is loving this. Some random crazy bloke turns up and says, "Oh, by the way, there's a conspiracy." And what does she do? Immediately, you know, she's, "Oh, it's like getting teased. Oh, no, no, don't tease me with a conspiracy. Oh, yeah, I'm on board." You know, she flips like that. And the thing is, because of the backdrop with the rats and them getting attacked and everything else, you can understand why people are under stress. And there's maybe like a lot of fragile, you know, you can, Angelica just, you know, is disturbed and there's like high tension environment. It does that to people. I so there's no reason, basically what I'm trying to say, there's no reason for her just to flip the way she did. At this point, nobody's doing anything on her. She has free reign. Like, she doesn't actually work. She just she spends most of her time in long shots posing, staring off into the distance. Like, you've got older nuns, you know, ironing and scrubbing, and she's just standing there posing. She is living the life of Riley. Like, if any, I've watched a few nun movies in the time, you know, and stuff. And generally, if you're like bottom rung, you're the one scrubbing the steps and doing all the menial chores, not the older nuns. They do their bit, but you know, it's a rank based system. You know, you're not having the level 5 nun doing the ironing while the level 1 nuns just mincing about the place, talking to the kids and staring off in the distance and going off on their own adventures. It does not make sense. Going out to nightclubs. Like, you know what I mean? The level 1 nuns are going out to the nightclub. And the older level 5 nuns are just, you know, doing all the work and keeping the place tidy. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe there's 2020 sensibility brought into this, but this is not a convent in the 70s. Like, they were getting beaten and whipped and all sorts of lovely stuff. Oh, God. Right. Anyway, the plot needs to carry on. So, Margaret's going to investigate. And what I mean by investigate, she's about as subtle as a brick in a sock. She may as well just go around grabbing nuns. Are you part of the conspiracy? Are you part of the conspiracy? Are you part of the conspiracy? Like, that's the way she's kind of bumbles about the second act of this movie after meeting Brennan. And you're kind of like, what the hell is this? Just absolutely. She's like Inspector Gadget. She's doing Inspector Gadget types of investigation, just blotting about the place. And also, the conspiracists themselves are nowhere near suspicious, going, "Oh dear, that Father Brennan bloke is up to something and has been yapping at her. Maybe we should do something about that." No, no, because this movie would be wrapped up in about 20 minutes if you applied logic. Now, I think that's part of the problem. If you applied logic to this movie, it'd be done in 20 minutes, and that's it, instead of fucking nearly 2 hours worth of snorefest. Because that's all that happens now. Between now and the final act is just her meandering about the place. We have Luca's initiation thing, which is weird. Like, once again, she's dolled up. Like, she's got her permed curly hair, her makeup on, and you're kind of like, that doesn't make sense. And what's even worse is the other nuns, you know, aren't. So she really stands out. And then there's a weird thing when they're putting her, what do you call it, the shredder mask thing, you know, the thing, and they're like really, like, trying to be dramatic as if it's a tourniquet around her head, just to bring that sense of horror. Like, it's just desperation. It's almost like somebody that's need to look him up actually. Arkasha Stevenson. What have they done? Vessels, Pineapple, Channel Zero, Legion. Hold on, is that TV? Channel Zero, what's that? Horror Anthology. Oh, so have done a horror, right. Legion. TV series. Superhero, right. Briar's Patch. This is quite a new director, by the way. Not really. All I've done is television up to this point. Brand New Cherry Favourite. That was alright, actually. I think I reviewed that. Didn't I? Did I review that when it came out a couple of years ago? That was alright, actually. You only did an episode? Alright, okay. So, yeah, it didn't actually write it. Yeah, episode exists. Did one episode. So, they don't even have... He's not even a showrunner. So, this director kind of wants to do horror, but this is their first movie. Oh, dear. And they're doing a prequel. That kind of says it all. There we go. The director is just out of his depth. I would understand if they're being a showrunner in a TV series, but they've done like an episode. What's it? 1, 2, 4 episodes on different shows. And then they get this movie. What's the budget in this? Doesn't tell you. First Omen. Oh, 30 million. Suppose for the budget, it's not too bad. It shows, to be honest. But they spend so much time doing the atmosphere stuff and blah 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 blah. And then we've got Fowler Louis, who's a random person. Her best friend, best friends for life sort of thing. Yeah, he's simping for her hard. And it's just like, okay, right, you're a plot device. And she has her own driver as well. Luca, is it Luca? She has her own driver. The Cardinal gives her own driver. She is treated like the Virgin Mary herself, because obviously that's the plot. If you don't know Margaret's the one that they're targeting, I don't know what to tell you, because you're getting beaten over the head with it the whole movie. And what's her face? Carlita's just the distraction. You kind of get bored with it after a while because you understand where it's going. And you know there's going to be a plot twist, because it's screaming at you, plot twist incoming. It's like warning signs all over the place, and you're just kind of like, yeah, okay. And we've already had the nightclub scene. So she's either got wasted or roofied or something, but yeah. Where'd I go with this? Yeah, she goes and nicks some files, and then she tries to escape, and then she does escape, and it kind of cuts between the scenes. She's got all the files, and she's that ham-fisted. She just runs out with the files and like half covers them with a tablecloth, like not even remotely attempting to be subtle. And one thing you notice is that things are like quiet, and if you're moving fast and running, people are going to turn around and look at you. And she may as well have got a bell and go ding 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 ding. I'm a plot device. I'm uncovering your conspiracy. And it seems like they've been trying to breed the Antichrist, and they've had like 12 attempts, and then they've on to attempt 13 or something like that. Very convenient. And the plan is, if they breed the Antichrist and let it and control it and put it on the earth, then people will flock back to the church because evil exists. Because, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, essentially, you've got a section of the Catholic Church carrying out satanic rituals. And the beast is mating with nuns to produce the Antichrist, and it's a 2-tier process. So you have to have the breed the mummy of the Antichrist, and then it has to breed the mummy to make the Antichrist. Will sort of get your banjos out. Apparently the devil didn't go down to Georgia. That's where he lived, and it's so contrived. And nobody deals with Brennan. I know he's needed for the Omen himself because he needs to have his like crazy scene. That's why he doesn't get touched. But the way he's kind of just like right there. And what's this thing about defrock priests still wearing their gear? That'd be like being kicked out of the army and still wearing a uniform. It doesn't make sense. But he does it. Like when the plot decides, he'll put a collar on or he'll have it off, and yeah, whatever. You stop caring. That's the problem with this. Halfway through this movie, you really just stop caring. You're just like, would you get on with it, please? And yeah, it just sort of meanders along. And there's this scene where they're grabbing Carlita, and then she sees the 666 in the roof of her mouth. Oh, it's her! Dun dun dun! And then she finds the other baby and realizes it's her, and then she finds the 666 in her head. Because guess what? Has to be in the same spot as Damien because, tenuous links, member berries, prequels. This is set in the 70s. So it's a prequel to The Omen, which was set in the 70s. So these are the events leading right up until Damien being given to Robert Thorne. But there's such a 2020 sensibility to it. Like the whole nightclub scene. You're just like, what the hell is this? And yeah, stuff happens. She goes to grab Carlita, even though they realize it's her. Like, the first thing they should have done was got her the hell out of Dodge and not send her back anywhere near the nun factory. Why did she go? Oh, she go back to grab Carlita because Carlita's a plot device. Because they see visions too. It's I see dead people. She goes, grabs her, they escape. They're in the car with the Cardinals driver. Because the Cardinals driver just switches sides. Because, yeah, not very much loyalty in this Orthodox religion that's been around for a while. Is there? People just flip and do whatever they want. I don't think it works that way. But sure, the plot needs to happen. And they need a car, and obviously she can't drive because reasons. Luca can't drive. So what they do is basically they're trying to escape, and then they're given chase by a bunch of priests, and I think that's the most priests you've seen, because everything else has been nuns and the Cardinal and Luca. I think one other. But then all of a sudden about 4 or 5 priests, because obviously only priests can give chase in the car. Yeah. I don't know, maybe they thought it looked better than a bunch of nuns in the car, but whatever. So they crash the car into the other car, and then Margaret's in the secret chamber that she found, strapped, and then we have this whole contrived birth scene. And of course she gives birth to twins, because it's 2024 and we can't have just the Antichrist being born. He needs an equal and opposite, girl boss. This is the birth of this. It wasn't the Antichrist. This is the birth of the girl boss. If they had done that, the first girl boss, hello, her name was Jennifer. Damien and Jennifer. If you know, you know. That would have worked better. In fact, this would have done better in the Scary Movie series if I had done it that way. God. So, yeah, Margaret then, they give her a C-section and stitch her up. And then we realize that it's Margaret's mother is part of the ritual. So Margaret meets her own mother. And So once again, why not just radicalize? Why go through all the subterfuge? Look at the way the jihadis do it with their suicide bombers. They completely radicalize them and brainwash them, and then ding, they're ready to go. In fact, what they do is, which is even more egregious, is they brainwash a load of young ones and then sell them off to whoever wants to use them. So you have these training camps and they radicalize their suicide bombers, and then basically what they do is they get on the phone, right? Who wants to bet? I've got one ready here. Friggin' put your head. You know what I mean? And you'd think that the Church of Rome would be good at this by now. They've had years of practice. Nah, they'll go the other route. They'll go the just let's be sneaky about it and not like if they had her completely radicalized and she thought she was doing a wonderful thing, she would have went into it willingly, like her mother. So why is she oh, sorry, yeah, right. What you have to do if you're going to watch this movie, just see the brain, just set it to the side. You don't need it for this movie. You genuinely don't. It's just leave the brain out for this because and just look at the pretty lights and remember about. Oh, I remember that. Oh, yeah, right, and then just go along. So we'll have this whole scene at the end. Girl bosses her way out with her daughter and Carnita, but they get Damien because the plot needs to happen. And then we get this whole contrived scene, linking the Robert Thorne and the whole scene of the 666 and the miscarriage, basically the first events of The Omen. Thank goodness they used the original actor's picture and they didn't use the remake one because that would have been horrendous. In fact, he's still kicking about, so they could have got him to act in it. I would have just been like, oh, no, please. Or maybe they should have done that, and that would have just been funny, and you just would have went, oh my God. So they know they have to go back to the better product, like the original 1978 one, because if they went to the remake, check out our Steve Cameron and I did a review of that, and that was absolutely fucking horrendous. Do you know one of them movies you just hate your life after watching? This isn't so bad because you're just like, meh, like I'll have forgotten this. In fact, I'll have interchanged it between this and Immaculate because both stories are essentially the same. In fact, I would argue that Immaculate did it better because at least that was its own story, and this is just a parasite on a better franchise. You just can make up your own minds on that, but that's where I'm standing on it, Right. So we get the first scene in The Omen, and then we'll have this scene in a weird mountain cabin where Margaret, Carlita, and young Bambino are playing happy families. And then Father Brennan turns up and goes, they will come looking for you. So is that just to go, right, we need to tie this loose plot thread up so it doesn't leave a gaping hole later that, yeah, they're going to get dealt with so that the Omen trilogy can happen, which probably still makes movie or still makes money. God, I can't even speak now. This thing's affecting my brain. So this thing is still, the Omen trilogy will still make money from leasing out to streaming services, DVDs, Blu-rays, special editions. You know what I mean? That franchise will still have legs. It's a watchable bloody trilogy. Really good. And they can't mess with it too much because they know that they need that. A lot of these companies are penny pinching at the moment. They're struggling. They're trying to put on a brave face, but they're not in a good place. And the reason is because they make shit like this. And this is the extent of their creativity. So there you go. There's another requel, prequel, reboot, remake, rehash. Insert pejorative here. Pejorative, aye. Whatever. I'm tired of talking about this now. God, it's just meh. It's just such a meh movie. There's better out there. There's better Exorcist type movies out there. There's better nun movies out there. I just talked about one, and that's not fantastic, but it's better than this. At least it's trying to do its own thing. There you go. So there's that. Hope you enjoyed it. I watched this so you don't have to. There you go. If you did enjoy this, however, let me know what you think in the comments, etc. All that good stuff. Or what are your thoughts on it? Or did you even bother? Did you just look at this and go, why? You know, but there you go. I am on with Dale tomorrow. We're talking about Wellington Paranormal. So that'll be fun. They're like a spin-off TV series just randomly found. And of the schedule more streams, actually, we've got quite a bit coming up as usual. So just even say, keep up the channel, do the type of things. Until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.